this is going to be a weird video. For no other reason than because, well, if you're not a Far Cry player, you really don't know what this is about. And it's kind of hard to explain this. But the TLDR is pretty much, you get dropped off in a country that is not America, until later installments anyway, and then you have to fight locals that are total assholes, because other locals that want you to be, you know, the specialist boy ever to save them. I didn't know. Like, I started playing with Far Cry 3 with Voss, and he was the best villain that they ever did, and I didn't know that there was a 1 and a 2 that you could play, and oh my god, they are actually really kind of boring, and I would recommend, hey, you want to do the completionist route for all of the Far Crys? Go ahead and play them, you're not missing out on anything. But Far Cry 3, I think, is where they really got their stride for how things were supposed to go. You need to make a villain that is memorable enough that the player character, you're the player character, actually cares about what's going on. Like me personally, every time Voss was on screen, my thought process was, didn't I just kill you? How many times, man? And then when I actually did kill him, spoilers, sorry, the game's been out for forever, I was like, oh my god, I finally killed him. And then you come to find out this year, no, Voss is alive. He's just been chilling on an island doing his own thing. You didn't do anything. He took a vacation. Which is actually more funny than you killing him. God, gotta lie. Far Cry 4 was... Well, Far Cry 4 is basically, you are a kid who's actually the son of a revolutionary in a foreign country that is taken over by a foreign power, and when your mom dies, she tells you to take her back to spread her ashes, and then you meet Pagan Min, who is the dictator of that country that you and your mother are technically from, and who killed your biological father, and then as you play throughout the game, you find out your biological dad was kind of actually an asshole, and he killed a baby. And Pagan Min is just actually really funny throughout the entire campaign before you get to the point of, you know, having to fight him and everything. He's constantly calling you on the radio just to annoy the shit out of you. Which I was like, you know what, this is not Voss from Far Cry 3, but I'm really glad that they're trying, because this wasn't Voss levels of entertainment, but it was entertaining.
RJ, you've been out and about exploring Kirat for a while now. Tell me, who lights all of those fucking candles? The country is in the grips of a civil war. An apparently monstrous dictator has the country on its knees, yet some industrious fool has put it upon himself to wake up every morning and go around lighting hundreds and hundreds of candles. Oh, I'm tempted to employ someone to go around blowing them all out again. Actually, I have a better idea. Gary! Gary! Well, put it down, this is important. Listen, candles are now illegal. What? Yes, all of them. Treason punishable by death. Thank you. And thank you, RJ. You just made my week.
Also, you meet 2 British guys that are just hobo squatting in your house that give you a ton of drugs all the time. That's it. That's literally their only purpose, is just to give you a ton of drugs every time you go visit them in your ancestral home. Far Cry 5 was where I actually had the most disconnect. Like, some people really liked it. I wasn't into it. I had the biggest disconnect in my life playing Far Cry 5 because it's based in Montana, in America, and no, I'm sorry. There's not that many people in Montana. There isn't. And I feel like you go through killing like 7 times the actual population of Montana before you even actually get anywhere. To sum it up nicely, interesting idea that a cult has moved into the rural part of Montana, right? Because it's a fake little county that you're in. And now you have to try and stop them before they basically brainwash the entire state and make some kind of weird thing. Also, they think the apocalypse is coming. Here's the real kicker, right? They're right. The apocalypse is coming, which is what leads you into the other newer Far Cry series, and I stopped playing after 5 because, well, to be honest, I just was so bored with the series. Like, don't get me wrong, fighting the villains that you have to fight in every game was fun. Actually, tangent on this story. During Far Cry 5, I couldn't beat Jacob, which is either the first, second, or third boss, depending on how you play the game. He's got snipers and wolves that attack you. My game glitched out while I was playing, so none of the animals would attack me. Like, straight up, they would just bypass me. My editor, who's editing this, I had to ask him to help me because I couldn't beat Jacob. And he got to see, because when the wolves came to attack, they literally just were like, "Oh, hello, madam." They tipped their hat and everything and just completely went around me. They saw him and it was like, "I'm sorry, man, I'm gonna have to kill the animals in this game fight. You're gonna actually have to kill the main boss." And right before he killed them, he was like, "Oh, hey, do you want to do the killing shot?" I was like, no, I just want to get past this level. I've been here for 3 months and I'm sick and tired of this fool and his ginger hair. Back to the main plot. Sorry, I had to really tell you guys this story because it was actually really hilarious that my game was glitched so bad that all the animal missions that you got, I just breezed through them because none of them saw me. I was Snow White. All of the animals loved me. But yeah, Far Cry 5 is a weird brainchild of the Far Cry industry because not only is it based in America, which no other game has been up until that point, for obvious reasons, but the fact that the actual nuclear apocalypse happens and nobody saw it coming except a bunch of crazy religious people out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, it very much is one of those, what is this? It's kind of like a Mad Lib made into a game and then goes from there. So, yeah. Now, I've watched other people play the other Far Cry games, and I'm gonna let you know right now, they don't seem like they're fun. Like, Far Cry has always been one of those, it's fun games, because you get to just run around an entirely foreign country, which is not actually a foreign country at all. It's a fake foreign country for the sole purpose of this game. That's it. And you get to run around grabbing weapons that, no, in real life you would not even legally be able to buy unless you were part of the military, and even then they would tell you have to be a certain rank to have these. And then you get to listen to crazy egomaniacs and their lackeys try very hard to explain to you why they are oh so right in oh so many ways, and it is actually oh so not the reason why you're playing. Actually killing them is one of those, it's on my to-do list, but it's at the very bottom. It really is. Because going through the world is more fun. And then Far Cry Primal happens somewhere between 3, 4, and 5. I honestly don't remember which, and I'm actually just too lazy to look it up. I'm sure my editor will put a fancy little sticky note on one of these and tell me, or you, who it is. But Far Cry Primal was one of those, it just takes place in before modern times, and you get to run around doing stuff and fighting other people, and I was like, you need to stop. That's actually boring. I don't want to fight people in caveman times. I'm gonna let you know right now. It's not as fun because it's not anything to do with power and control and the manipulation of masses. It's how we came to be as a society. We fought each other for resources and territories that we perceived as better than others. That's it. You don't need to know anything other than that. That's the whole of history before modern civilization and governments and all that other crap. I'm probably wrong on time length because time to me doesn't feel weird or right. It doesn't matter. I actually ignore time. Sometimes I have to remind myself to look at clocks because I'm like, ooh, I actually don't know what time it is and I think I might have forgotten the whole day. So there's that. And yeah. So on a scale of playable because I enjoyed it to not playable, Far Cry 3 always gets the first spot because it was a game that, man, they really let you just go crazy, and then on top of it, other than the very lovable villain that is Voss, and the secondary villain, which is Sintra, who is maybe his sister, they don't really tell you. I'm not going to look at the wiki page either because this is not that kind of a video. I'm not going to dedicate hours of research into this. She's just as bad as him. But you end up killing her too. It's actually amazing how much killing you do in 3. And then you go to 4, and it's fun. I gotta stress this. It's fun, but it brings up more questions of what is right and what is wrong. Because if you play the game, right, 4, in its entirety, you have a choice to make for the rebel leaders that took over after your supposed father's death at the hands of the dictatorial, I know what I was trying to say. I got there. Reign of pagan men 4. Now, we're not ever shown what exactly it is he's doing to really oppress these people. We're only ever told it. Which, again, not a bad thing, but you don't get to see it. But you do have a choice to make when you join the Resistance. There are 2 faction leaders. One that is going for the progression into the 21st century, and one that wants to keep traditional values. Now, you can pick either or. You can't pick both. You do have to kill one of them. But both of them have endings that once you see what it is, they are just as bad, if not worse, as the man that they are trying to replace. Because power does not exist in a vacuum. So if one leader is suddenly completely wiped out from a nation, there's a spot empty. And whatever takes that spot is now the new normal. And everybody on the bottom of the totem pole kind of has to suffer through it. Now, if you choose Amita, which is the girl option for this regime, she turns the entire country into a drug state. And she doesn't like it when you don't go along with it, because it's just not good. The other one, if you choose that route, is Sabal. He's the traditionalist. He wants everything to stay the same. And straight up in one cutscene, they straight up call him a pedophile. And he gets mad about it because the subject is to marry little girls, which I'm gonna let you know right now, in a lot of countries, that is still not only okay, it is expected. That's creepy. No matter what way you slice that, it's creepy. So no matter which one you pick, it's bad. You either get the drug state that is using children as slave labor, or you get the traditional state, which is actively marrying child brides off for the prosperation of traditionalism. Now, there is no way to keep Pagan Min in power, but you do have the option of killing him, which he lets you, by the way, he just lets you in and to kill him. Or you could just choose the pacifism route, and he could just fly off into the distance to go do whatever it is he's going to do next, leaving you in charge of everything. But you don't get to see what happens, what you pick once he leaves you the country. It's very open-ended if you go that route. For the record, I actually had to sit there for like 20 minutes debating on whether or not I wanted to kill him, because I was like, I can't really justify picking any of these people to keep going for this country. I feel like there needs to be a middle ground between all of these extremes, and there's not, and I feel like I wouldn't be it, because I just straight up shot tigers, I did a bunch of drugs, I killed a lot of people, I stormed an entire capital of a country. I am not a good role model in this game. I don't think I should be any kind of government power, but that is not the point of 4. That's just how 4 goes. It's one of those either or options. No matter who you pick, it's horrible, and you have to go with it. 5 is just weird all on its own because, like I said, it takes place in America, which is new territory for the game. I haven't played all the other ones, so I can only speak up to 5. But all of the mini-bosses that you have to fight, which are his 2 brothers and one girl who was indoctrinated and brainwashed because of drugs, ? You have to kill them. Like, there is no option to try and, like, just befriend them or, like, get them to your side. It's just straight murder. And then when you have to go fight him, their only 2 options are you let the end of the world happen, or you choose to just back off and not fight him at all. And then, because the brother Jacob, who I had such a hard time beating in the game, Jesus Christ, I know it's been years, but it still bothers me. Because he brainwashed you earlier in the game with a song. When it comes on, you go into an entire crazy fueled rage of killing everything. As you're driving away, that song comes on the radio and it just ends. It fades to black, and I'm like, so my options for this game are quite literally nuclear apocalypse or the murdering of everybody I just saved because they're all in the car with me. That is not good options. That's it. That's just how 5 goes. So I'm just like, ugh. In defense of this game, right, because this is technically a defense video, it's fun. They're fun games. I can't speak of all the newer Far Cry games, but the games that precede the new ones, they're fun. They're just not as fun as 3. If you really want to laugh right, like, aggravatingly fun time, go to 3. It's super fun. If you just want to scratch your head and be like, oh man, there's a lot of choices here and none of them are right, play 4. If you just want to be confused about how your choice means absolutely nothing, play 5. Because no matter what you do, you lose in that game. Which is just so messed up. But that's it. That's the defense of these specific video games, is you have fun. And that's all they are. I am gonna link my Twitter and Discord on this video. Big shout out to my editor who does these videos and makes them look nice. And big shout out to all of you who sit there and suffer through these videos and listen to my annoying voice. Stay safe.